What it do, baby? Welcome back to the TMS Takes
Episode
Podcast.
2. My name is Tyler.
I'm
I'm
Mason.
Steele.
Welcome back.
And welcome
Episode
back.
2.
Yeah, it's been a
Uh,
little delayed, but
yeah,
you know, it
technical
happens. It
difficulties.
happens.
No one's
Technology,
perfect.
you know.
Yeah, we're not getting into it, you know. We're just gonna blame Craig.
Don't blame
Mhm.
Craig. He didn't do it.
Oh, it was Craig. 100%.
He
yeah, it
doesn't
was
know any
Craig.
better.
It was definitely Craig.
Yes, it is.
How you guys doing today?
pretty good.
Well, it's nighttime. I'm fantastic. Let's see.
How you guys doing
It's evening.
I'm doing good. You
Why's
know
that?
why? Because Russell Westbrook
Russell
got
Westbrook
traded
did
to
get
my
traded.
team, the Houston
That's
Rockets.
true.
Sir.
And Seal's team.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
The thing that
Gave up.
really is upsetting about that is that nowadays in sports we can't just accept that. There's greatness everywhere you look in the NBA now, and everyone's always trying to take everybody down. Everyone's saying, "Oh, this duo isn't going to work. This is a stupid thing for the Rockets to do." Can't we just accept greatness? I mean, 2 former MVPs are on the same team, a team that almost went to the Western Conference Finals last year. I mean, this team's gonna be really good. I hate how everyone's trying to take down the Rockets.
At first, I wasn't
That's
a fan
true.
of it, but I've been thinking about it. Not only to get Westbrook, who's an upgrade over Chris Paul, but we get rid of that terrible contract that he had. And also, I didn't realize that Westbrook and Harden were like really good friends. I thought they were just teammates, but I guess they used to play like California
true,
ball
yeah.
growing up together, and like they've stayed in touch. And then like more reports came out saying Harden like pushed for the Rockets to get Westbrook, and he's been saying he's like willing to take a step back and all this other thing. So I'm pretty excited.
Don't quote me on this, but but both of them are from Cali, right? That's right. Yeah.
LA.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's what I
LA.
thought. Steele, your thoughts as a Rockets fan on the trade?
See, I was in the same boat as Mason, you know.
Yeah, no,
I
I
didn't really like it at the beginning because, you know, Westbrook he's a ball-dominant player, and when, you know, initially when he comes, you got 2 ball-dominant players on the same team. You don't know if they're going to work, but, you know, their chemistry is A1, and, you know, Harden's he's focusing more on the season. Did you hear about
I heard about
dropped from the Team USA team? So
that. Similar to AD, Anthony Davis, I think he did that too.
yeah, everyone's focusing on that chip, so I'm liking it.
Same with Benjamin Simmons.
No, he's that's right. Yeah, he's gonna do something for Australia.
Drop from the Australian team.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Who's even?
If you're gonna Matthew Dellavedova, the Curry stopper. I mean, if you're gonna drop out of the World Cup, what is it? The World Cup? FIBA World Cup. That's what it is. FIBA. If you're gonna drop out of the FIBA World Cup any year, this is the year to do it. When the NBA is most up in the air.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure.
Okay, you guys ready to get into our?
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about this week's episode. We are doing our way too early 2019-2020 NBA standings predictions. Our seedings. We're not going to do our playoffs today, but just seedings where we think everyone's going to fall. Yeah.
Gonna get started off
Eastern
in the
Conference.
East. I'll start it off. Number 1 seed. I'm gonna have to go with the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's just for the simple reason that they have the best player in the East. And then they have players that fit him. They don't just have like good players. They have good players that like fit around Giannis, and they're coming into another year with good chemistry. That Nikola Mirotic and Brogdon thing will definitely take a hit on their team for sure, but I don't think they use Malcolm Brogdon even in the right way. Mirotic will be a big blow, but I mean, Giannis will probably even improve more. This team will just like get better growing together. Yeah. I feel like they have chips on their shoulders because they were 2 games away from the finals, and it was that was probably like a big loss for Giannis and the whole team. So I think they're going to be number 1 in the East.
And I think
sure.
I think what you said about Malcolm Brogdon, Mirotic is correct. I 100% agree. I think Brogdon is better than Mirotic at the point of last season, but I really don't think I think we talked about this a little bit last week's episode. They really didn't use Brogdon as well as I think they could have, or correct as I think they could have. I'm gonna go right into my first seed. It's the Bucks as well. You pretty much said everything I was going to say. They're a really talented team. They mesh extremely well together. Chemistry's definitely still there. They lost Brogdon, they lost Mirotic. I don't think that's going to hurt them as much. I don't think it's going to hurt them that much. They're well coached, defending coach of the year, defending MVP now. My first seed's the Bucks too, for sure.
Boys, it's 3 for 3 because my first
three.
seed will also be the Bucks. You guys pretty much covered it. And when you have an elite caliber player like Giannis on your team, who I think is actually going to win MVP this year too.
Really?
Yeah. There's just he really can't be stopped. So first seed for me, Milwaukee.
And Mason, I think you called Giannis the best player in the East. I agree. This season, I think he's the best player in the East. But once KD comes back, we'll see what happens with that situation. That's a whole nother story, though. That's a whole other story.
I think Giannis is going to be. Giannis isn't even in his prime yet, which is terrifying.
True. He said, what did he say? He said he was 60% of his prime.
Almost not only that, he's 24 years old.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
When he's like 27, 28, he's going to be.
The league's in trouble.
Yeah, it's bad.
All right, our second seeds.
Okay, second seed. I got the Sixers. Sixers just had 1 through 5 on their starting lineup is amazing. This team, many people said they don't have shooting, which I just don't understand because shooting guard through center, they have shooting. I mean, Ben Simmons is the only one that can't shoot, but I mean, still, if you have, that's good. It's not bad for him. Like, yes, he needs to learn how to shoot, but he's surrounded with shooters, which is good for his play style because he can drive and kick. The only thing that's concerning about this team is that bench is terrible. They're like 6 man is Mike Scott, who's not bad, but you do not want Mike Scott being your 6th man. I feel like they could maybe run Richardson with the bench a little bit this year. I think that would be good for him, just because. I mean, like if once you like put the bench in, it gets really bad. I mean, we're gonna have Zaire Smith. We'll see how he does, but I mean, and then Al Horford signing was huge for him, getting back Tobias Harris. So I think this team's gonna be second seed.
Yeah, I totally agree. My second seed is the Sixers too. Starting 5, one of the best in the league. Shooting, exactly like you said, shooting guard through center. They have shooting for sure. Great defensive team, great shooting team. Semi well coached in my opinion. I'm not so hot on Brett Brown, and there were rumors after last season that if they lost that second round series to Toronto, which they did, obviously Toronto ended up winning the finals, but that Brett Brown wouldn't keep his job. Those rumors were shut down pretty quickly after the series ended. Brett Brown still has his job. I'm not that high on him. But one thing I am high on with this team is Al Horford signing. I said it a lot last week. That's one of my top 5 moves from free agency. I think he fits perfectly with the Sixers. He's much needed shooting, which, like you said, with Ben Simmons, he's a driving kit kind of guy, kind of like Giannis, kind of like we see in Giannis. Very similar situations with the Bucks and Sixers. I think that's why I think they're top 2 in the East. I love that Horford signing defensively, leader wise. I think he fits perfect with the Sixers. So my second seed's the Sixers too.
Yep, boys, another 3 for 3 because
another 3 for 3.
Second seed is the Sixers.
Of course.
Pretty much you guys covered it all. Their 1 through 5 is great. The only things that are like subpar about them is their bench, and I'm really not a huge fan of their coach either. Second seed. Sixers, baby.
Sixers. So we're 6 for 6 on the first 2 seeds. All
yes,
3
sir.
of us.
It's gonna get a little different though, because I mean, honestly, 3 through 6 can be changed.
I mean, 3 through 8. Honestly, the East is wild. There's so much fluctuation in it.
So my third seed, I'm gonna have to go with the Pacers. They're gonna get Victor Oladipo back midway through the year, which I think is gonna be big for him. He's their star player, but I mean, we saw with the team that they were a top 3 team in the East last year with Victor Oladipo, and he got injured, and they still finished as a 5th seed. I mean, they lost who they lose Thaddeus Young and Darren Collison. Those were 2 big guys. Bojan, that was the biggest one. But I mean, they got back TJ Warren, who's very underrated, a great 3-and-D guy. He shot 40% from 3 this year. He really changed his game. They got Goga, who I think is a good rookie. Malcolm Brogdon, I think that's going to be a great fit for him. Him and Victor Oladipo are going to do some great things. And then Jeremy Lamb, he's kind of going under the radar. He had like his career year with the Hornets this year. He played great.
He did, yeah.
And you still have DeMontis Sabonis and Miles Turner, who are young and will probably take that next step. So I think Pacers will be third.
The Pacers are they're a really interesting team because, like you said, third seed with Oladipo in before his injury, gets injured, fifth seed. I totally agree with everything you're saying about the Pacers. They're gonna be a really interesting team, especially Oladipo will be out until I think I heard a report that said December or January at the latest. I think, don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what it is. They still have a great group. Their coach, Nate McMillan, really underrated. So yeah, I totally see where you're coming from at with the third seed. Let's see here, but my third seed actually is going to change. Our first change. My third seed in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
I think this season they're going to be much better than they were last year. Switching Kyrie with Kemba Walker. I think Kemba Walker fits much better into the Celtics, not only attitude but play style. It's everything. I think he fits much better than Kyrie did. I talked about this last podcast. The rookie class. I love the rookie class. Carson Edwards, Trey Waters, Grant Williams, and Romeo Langford. I love the group they brought in. I think they were a top 5 winner from the draft. They have a lot to prove this season. I'll tell you that. Before last season, going into last season, I had them winning the Eastern Conference. I had Brad Stevens as a possible Coach of the Year candidate. We saw how that worked out. Brad Stevens could not have had a worse year. Same with these Celtics, all the drama and just playing terrible the way they did. I think the Celtics have a huge chip on their shoulder, a lot to prove this coming into the season. That goes for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. So my third seed. I think the Celtics prove themselves this season. I think they're going to be really good. Celtics, my third seed.
I see where you're going with the Celtics because on my third seed's actually I'm going to agree with Mason here. It's the Pacers, but the only reason why compared to what's it called 3 and 4, which we'll get into my fourth, but the Celtics they lost Al Horford, and I think that was a huge blow to them. So, and the Pacers, like Mason already covered, they're a young, good team, and they prove they can win without Victor. And you get Victor back towards the end of the season, like December or January. I feel like this team could pull it through. So 3 Pacers.
Yeah.
So bouncing off that, my fourth seed is the Celtics. The reason I have them one below the Pacers is just because I think it's gonna take a little bit for Kemba Walker to get used to this system, just because they have a lot of like scorers like Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum. They kind of need they like to have the ball in their hands. Enes Kanter replacing Al Horford. I mean, I don't see that doing well at all. I think Enes Kanter is a great player, but he's nowhere near an Al Horford type player. Honestly, I really think it depends not on Kemba. I think it depends on Jason Tatum and how he does this season, because it was a very disappointing season from him. He did not improve whatsoever.
He got worse.
He had that amazing. He made that amazing playoff run. Everyone was getting hyped, saying he was an all-star next year. But he really didn't improve at all. He declined a little bit. His 3-point percentage went down a ton. If he can take that next step, I think he'll put the Celtics over the edge. Same with Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown had a disappointing year as well, because he had a really good year in 2017, 2018. But I think it really just comes down if Jason Tatum can take that next step.
And that's honestly, I think he will. And if he doesn't, I don't think the Celtics are the third seed. Only I put the Celtics as the third seed with the belief that Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward too. I think I forgot to mention him. I think that Kemba is good. I think Kemba's hands down a better leader than Kyrie. Not as much the player Kyrie is, but I think the Celtics group, honestly, I think they just need a great leader in front of them. Kemba obviously is a great leader. Stayed in Charlotte for 8 years. Didn't say one bad thing. Didn't badmouth the organization once, and all that losing. Didn't badmouth Michael Jordan once, and all that losing. I think Kemba's a great leader. I think he fits perfectly with the Celtics. And I do think that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I don't know if they're going to take the next step, but I do think we're going to see what we saw from them in that 2017-2018 season when they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They really need Jason
They
Tatum
really
to take
do.
that. I honestly feel like Jaylen Brown might not improve that much, but if the Celtics ever want to be a contender, Jason Tatum has to
Absolutely.
be a 20-point per game scorer.
Absolutely.
Go on your
I'll
seed.
take over from there. My 4 seed, maybe kind of a shocker going into this season, but I kind of feel strongly about this. It could change, obviously, with all these. This could easily change. My 4 seed is the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, had a crazy offseason. All season long, everyone's saying, oh, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, they're going to be Knicks. They're going to New York. They're going to New York. They did go to New York, but they went to Brooklyn. And I think that for Kyrie and KD, this was easily the best move. I think the Nets have a great coaching staff, great front office. Sean Marks, their GM, is amazing at his job. Kenny Atkinson, not talked about enough, I think. They added Kyrie, replaced D'Angelo Russell with Kyrie. Sure, D'Angelo Russell, he might be a better leader than Kyrie, but I think Kyrie is miles ahead of D'Angelo Russell playing-wise. Nets have a great group around Kyrie. And in the Eastern Conference, that's not that great. I think that the Nets can easily be, or not easily, but I think the Nets can be the 4 seed. So my 4 seed is the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Brooklyn's going to be exciting to watch this year, huh?
Absolutely. Especially when KD comes back.
Oh, yeah. And Kyrie in the Nets jersey, that's going to be pretty clean.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my 4 seed is the Boston Celtics. I feel just the blow to Al Horford, it'll bump them down, and that's why I really have Pacers over the edge of the Celtics. But this team could really prove themselves, and I feel like Kemba, it'll take him a year to adapt, but I feel like he's a fast learner, so he could actually take half a season. So my 4th team is the Celtics.
Okay, much like Mason's, I think.
Start on the 5th seed. I got the Brooklyn Nets. So I honestly think there's a gap between 4 and 5 for me, just solely for the fact that they don't have Kevin Durant yet. This team's very talented, but I think it's going to take a year to mesh it all together, just because I think when you put Kyrie in a new system like the Brooklyn Nets, who have already established themselves, you kind of have to let him do his own thing, but then also keep the other players happy. So I think it's going to take a year to adjust that. I don't like the DeAndre Jordan signing at all, so I don't know how that's going to fit, especially since they have Jared Allen, who I think could easily be better than DeAndre Jordan this year, even though they had Jared Allen playing in the summer league for some reason, which I have no clue. I don't think I've ever seen a playoff center start in the summer league, so yeah, but I think it's good for this year just because I think Kyrie knows he's the guy this year, but next year he's gonna hopefully he realizes that Kevin Durant is gonna come in and be the main guy.
He better realize that.
Yeah, so the Nets are just 5th just because I think it's gonna take time to mesh all the players together.
And I forgot to talk about DeAndre Jordan. That I think I think DeAndre Jordan is, in my opinion, not near Jared Allen at this moment. Obviously not as good as he was in his Lob City days. That DeAndre Jordan. I think that signing was more of showing because DeAndre Jordan, KD, and Kyrie all really close friends, really good friends. And I think that signing, especially KD and DeAndre Jordan, but I think that signing DeAndre Jordan, I think it was 3 years, $40 million. I feel like that was more of was it 4 years? Was it 440? I feel like that move was more just showing KD and Kyrie, hey, whatever you guys want, this is your team now. I heard that. I mean, KD and Kyrie even took a pay cut, minor pay cut, in order to clear up some space to bring DeAndre Jordan in. So I think that was more of a hey, just showing a showing of, hey, this is your team. Whatever you want, we're catered to you. This is up to you now. This is your team. Take the reins. Take us where we need to go. But yeah, I do agree that the DeAndre Jordan signing, from a playing standpoint, was crazy, and I think he was much overpaid. 4 years for $40 million. I'll bounce into my 5th seed off of that. My 5th seed, I think both of you guys talked about that. I think they were your 3rd seed, is the Indiana Pacers. I agree with everything you're saying. third seed with Oladipo, fifth seed with Oladipo hurt. They have a great group without him. I already said I love their coach, Nate McMillan, very underrated, passionate team. But I think losing Bojan, I think he was a really, really integral part of this team. I think losing him is going to hurt. They lost Thad Young. They replaced him with TJ Warren. I do think TJ Warren's better than Thad Young. But I think I have them as my fifth seed. I would put the Nets and Celtics over them. When Oladipo comes back, I think that's when they're really going to push up to the fifth seed. But yeah, my fifth seed is the Indiana Pacers.
So my fifth seed. This might actually come as a shock to you guys, but my fifth seed is actually the Toronto Raptors.
Oh wow!
You take a huge hit after losing someone like Kawhi Leonard.
That's
Super
right.
Kawhi, he's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
But my fifth and sixth seed, that you could probably tell. I'm saying like who my sixth seed is. My sixth seed's the Nets. I'm just gonna say right now.
Okay.
They just need they need that year to adapt, and I think this year is like more of an experimental year for the Nets. And with the Raptors, they're looking to prove themselves that they can win without Kawhi, and they still got their pretty much the same team besides losing Kawhi and Danny Green. But so their chemistry is there, and that's why I have the Raptors at fifth.
Yeah, and don't forget about Siakam. I think Siakam's going to have a great year. I think he's going to explode. I think he's going to be a lot better than he was last year, if that's even possible. But yeah, I see where you're coming from with the Raptors. They have a lot to prove. Everyone's writing them off kind of after losing Kawhi and Danny Green, which I guess that's justified because after you lose the man that brought you your first championship in franchise history, and a good role player, obviously a great shooter like Danny Green is, obviously they're going to write you off. But yeah, no, I totally see where you're coming from with the Raptors having a lot to prove.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So transition into that for my sixth seed, I have the Raptors. This team, it still has it has a lot of players, but the thing that worries me about this team is that they're very old. 1 through 5 for me, all the teams ahead of them are young and explosive, while this team is just getting aging. Like Kyle Lowry's going to take another step down. Marcus Gasol is going to take another step down. So the big thing about me is losing Kawhi is obviously huge, but also the age factor that applies to this team is pretty bad. So they're my sixth seed.
My sixth seed is the Miami Heat. Might be kind of a surprise. They just added Jimmy Butler, traded Hassan Whiteside. It's a really interesting team because Jimmy Butler left a situation in Philadelphia where, sure, he wasn't the go-to guy, but that team was obviously successful. Was it triple doink away from maybe possibly advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think for Jimmy, that leaving town with Philadelphia and heading to South Beach, joining the Heat, I'm not sure if joining the Heat was the best move for him. I think it will work out, but I think I talked about this last week. I do think it was the best move for Jimmy Butler and the Sixers to go their separate ways. I just really didn't like the fit between the two sides. But yeah, the Heat are a really interesting team. Jimmy definitely needs to prove himself as a leader. I think he's only getting better from here. Passionate team. Not sure how I feel about Spoelstra. Obviously, he's been a successful coach in the past, but I'm not as high on him as other people are. Once again, Jimmy Butler really needs to prove himself. I think he does that, and I think the Heat make it to the 6th seed, and maybe a bit of a shocker. Yeah,
well, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming though. Jimmy does need to prove himself as a leader because compared 100%. To his other teams he's been on, yikes. But going into my 6th seed, I kind of said them already, but it's the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just an experimental year for them. They gotta get Kyrie used to the system while also trying to get the other players the ball. So yeah, 6 for me is the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
So bouncing off what Tyler said, I have the Miami Heat at number. They were very close to making the playoffs last year with Dwayne Wade at the helm, a very aging Dwayne Wade.
Exactly.
I think the Hassan Whiteside, I think that was a bad move for them just because they did not get as good of players in return. They got rid of a bad contract, but they also took on a couple bad contracts, like the Myers Leonard contract.
Yeah.
So I don't really know that. I understand that. I also think that Josh Richardson he was a great player for him. That's a big blow. I mean, I know you had to give him up for the sign and trade, but I mean, still, that was a pretty big loss for them. I also don't like that Jimmy Butler is the leader of this team because he's a good leader, but he doesn't portray it in the right way. Like he's a very toxic player that just doesn't know his boundaries, and you can't win with Jimmy Butler as your number one option. So that's why I have him at 7.
And what I'm hoping happens when the season's starting, and when Jimmy's in Miami. I know he's already there, signing his contract, obviously, but I'm hoping at one point, if it hasn't happened already, Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, they're going to sit down and be like, "Hey, everything that's happened in the past, you need to stop that." I mean, maybe when they met, they already talked about it too. But as long as Jimmy Butler isn't as toxic as he was in Minnesota, I think this team can be really successful. That's why I have him as my 6th seed. So this is our 7th seed. My 7th seed is the Toronto Raptors, the defending champions. Obviously, huge blows, losing Kawhi Leonard, losing Danny Green. But now they have Siakam as their greatest player. Obviously, it's a solid team. They have chemistry together. Obviously, they have the momentum coming off that championship. Great coach, Nick Nurse. Obviously, losing, as I already said, losing Kawhi and Danny Green is going to hurt this team. And I saw them as my 7th seed. Great team, but losing your best player and a solid role player, good shooter, is really going to hurt them. So my 7th seed is the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, I feel like 5 through 8, maybe even 6 through 8 for me they could all just go anywhere pretty much. But my 7th seed is the Heat. Jimmy Butler has to prove himself. Like what Mason said, he's a good leader, but he doesn't know how to portray his good leader traits. And plus this team, I don't know. There's nothing really exciting to say about the Heat, except obviously Jimmy Butler. So 7 for me, gotta be the Heat.
We already talked about them for the most part, so
yeah. Pretty much.
Another thing about the Heat is I just feel like Jimmy Butler is never satisfied with whatever his situation is.
We saw that, especially in Minnesota. It's
bad.
I feel like he could have LeBron on his team and still be like, I'm not that satisfied.
He really needs to be a better leader.
Yeah.
In order for this team to succeed.
It's not like he joined a contender too. Let's hop into our last playoff seed. I have the Detroit Pistons. There's a lot of reports coming out with Blake Griffin being traded, so like that this could really like go south for me because that's the only reason I have him in the 8th seed. Because Blake Griffin could have an MVP type. I don't think he'll be an MVP contention just because his team won't be good, but he can have an MVP type year. I mean, his play last year went very underrated. He averaged 25 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah. He played really very good and went very underlooked. Andre Drummond is still a 15-point, 16-rebound kind of guy. They added Derrick Rose, who I think could potentially be he could have an even better season than he had last year. Reggie Jackson, he's an okay point guard. I hope he comes off the bench. But yeah, I think this is the last team that I have for the playoffs solely because of Blake Griffin.
Yeah, and I'll just go right into mine. My 8th seed as well is it's the Detroit Pistons. Similar to last season. Acting exactly like last season. I think Blake's going to have a great year. Luke Kennard, shooting guard, he's going to be great. I think he's going to have a most improved player type season. Like you said, Blake, for some reason, is in these trade talks. I don't think the Pistons should trade him. I don't even know if they're true. I don't know what's going on with this whole situation. The Pistons definitely should not trade him. He sells tickets. He's the best player on the team. The Pistons are well coached. Obviously, Dwayne Casey had a great run in Toronto. I still not sure why he got let go. Obviously, worked out for the Raptors. We saw how their season ended. But I think Blake's going to have an even better year than he did last year. I agree with you, Mason. MVP type season, but I feel like Blake Griffin's always been kind of I don't know about underrated, but I feel like he's kind of been underappreciated, maybe underrated. MVP type season, but on this team, I don't think he's going to win MVP. My 8 seed is the Detroit Pistons too.
I'm just gonna hop straight into my 8th seed because you guys pretty much covered the Pistons. So my 8th seeds, this could be a little potential shocker, but my 8th seed is the Magic.
Okay.
I feel like because this is a young growing squad, and they've proved they could make the playoffs before, and seeing them in the playoffs would be pretty nice. I believe Terrence Ross is really underrated for sure.
Oh, he's always been. Yeah,
Ross, he's been a beast.
Oh yeah,
and you got young players like Aaron Gordon. He's pretty much a stud. Jonathan Isaac, I like him.
Right.
And you got Nikola Vucevic, and potentially if he flips the switch, Markelle Fultz, which I don't know if
he's a project,
switch, but
he's still a project.
He's a lost cause.
He really is.
He could be.
But I mean, if he wants to flip the switch and does, I could see them being the 8th seed. So
sure,
Magic 8th for me.
Magic or 8th seed.
So bouncing off that, I don't think you're crazy because my 9th seed's the Magic, and I could easily see them making the playoffs just because Nikola Vucevic is coming off a great year. This team's running it back. They have young players that are going to develop more. So yeah, I think this team's kind of the same. So that's all I'm going to say about them is they got a pretty good squad.
My 9th seed, I totally agree with the Magic. They're running it back, and for them, I don't know if that's a terrible thing. My 9th seed is the Atlanta Hawks, though. Really, really young team. So much talent. They drafted Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter. I think they're going to fit great. Not this season, but next season, I think the Hawks will make the playoffs as long as this young core works, which I don't see how it can't. So this season, for right now, they're going to barely miss the playoffs. The Hawks are my 9th seed.
People are forgetting they got Jabari Parker.
Did. I forgot about that. Yeah, they did.
Well, I don't know about the beast part, but
I feel like he's still a project too. We'll see what happens.
He's $6 million a year for Jabari Parker is not
exactly.
bad.
I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet because you guys pretty much covered them. But my 9th seed could easily be 8th or 7th. So my 9th seed is the Detroit Pistons. Blake Griffin's gonna come off. He's gonna do very well this year. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
9th seed, Pistons.
10th seed, I have the Bulls. I think this team just needs like 1 or 2 more years until they can actually like do some damage in the playoffs. The reason I have them is just because of Lauri Markkanen's injury prone, and that team has no defense, and they're young, so they need like time to mesh. So for that reason, they're my 10th
seed. We're actually kind of close to where we have the Bulls. I'll touch on them in a second here. My 10th seed is the Orlando Magic. Both of you guys talked about them. They're running it back, but I think the East. I feel like the East got. I feel like it got more. What's the word? It got more spread out. I feel like last season it was kind of top heavy, with the top 4 seeds. I felt obviously those top 4 seeds advanced the next round. So I feel like last season it was kind of top heavy, which allowed the Magic room to squeeze in. I feel like it's a lot more spread out this season. The Magic barely missed. Not much you can really say about the Magic. They're running it back with a solid team, solid squad. Steele said, Terrence Ross very underrated. Vucevic, I don't know if he's really underrated anymore. All-star last year, but yeah, my 10th seed is the Orlando Magic.
Same with my 10th seed. I'm gonna keep it a little short and sweet, because Tyler already touched on them. But my 10th seed's the Hawks. I just feel like with this team, they're a young team they're growing for sure. They just need time to grow, and I feel like in the next few years they'll be easily 8th or 7th. So for right now, the 10th seed for me is the Hawks.
Crazy amount of potential and talent there too. The Hawks could be really dangerous.
Trigger Trey.
For my 11th seed, I have the Hawks. I like what Steele said. This team has like no experience, so that's why I think they're a great young team. But I don't think they make playoffs just because, or like above all these other teams, just because they have no experience on their team. And I like the young core that they have. Don't get me wrong, but they only have 2 proven guys as of right now, so I need to see what they can do before I can rank them any higher.
Yeah, talent-wise, I think you could give the Hawks the edge over the Pistons. But I'm a guy who's all about experience, chemistry. This team has little to no chemistry with their new young squad. Obviously, Trae Young, John Collins, Herter, but adding in Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, I mean, they have little to no experience. Yeah, so that's why I think talent-wise, you could put the Hawks over the Pistons, maybe even the Raptors, honestly. But they just no experience there, so yeah, they'll need another couple years. My 11th seed, we're on 11, right? My 11 seed is the Chicago
Yeah.
Bulls. Mason, I think both of you guys talked about them actually. If I'm not
Not
wrong.
me, not yet.
Not you? Yeah, it was Mason. Similar to the Hawks, really, really talented. Just young. They need more experience. Not much you can really say about them. They need a couple more years, I think. They could be a playoff team in the near future. So yeah, my 11 seed is the Chicago Bulls.
Well, speaking of the Bulls, Tyler, I'm gonna have to agree with you there.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I feel like it's almost the same exact situation with the Hawks. It's just the Hawks have a little bit more talent, I'd say, on their on their roster. But don't get me wrong, the Bulls are just with the Hawks too. They could easily be an 8th seed or 7th seed too.
Mm.
They just need a couple of years to grow more. So, 11th seed Bulls.
There you go.
12 seed, I have the Wizards. I'm disappointed in them. They let me down last year. I thought they were going to do good. John Wall is going to be out for a good portion of the year. Literally the only reason that they're the 12 seed is because of Bradley Beal. If they didn't have Bradley Beal, they'd be my 14th or 15th
Top
seed
3
without
low.
a doubt.
Bottom 3, I should say.
That team is awful without him. Bradley Beal carries that team on his back, and they still are trash. So that's why they are 12.
Oh yeah, my 12 seed's the Wizards too. You said it exactly right. Without Bradley Beal, this is a bottom 3 team. They added Isaiah Thomas. I'm a big fan of his. I really hope he can prove himself and go back to his Boston years with the Wizards. I think if he does, honestly, I don't see them making the playoffs, but I think they could easily go higher. That is if Isaiah Thomas is back to anywhere close to where he used to be. With Bradley Beal, the Wizards are a 12 seed. Without him, bottom 3. Yeah, my 12 seed's Wizards.
Boys, be 3 for 3 on this 12 seed because my 12 seed is
that right?
Wizards. It's pretty much you guys pretty much covered it. You know, John Wall, Achilles injury.
He'll be out for the season.
Yep, and then Bradley Beal's got to strap that backpack and put everybody on his back. But he can't. He's good, but he can't carry them to above 12. So
no.
12 seed for me, Wizards.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
13th seed. I went on them last
3.
week. I'm still gonna go in on them because I am disappointed in what they did to the Knicks.
The New York Knicks. Power forwards and shooting guards.
I like Dennis Smith Jr., R.J. Barrett, and Julius Randle, but that is not enough to put them over any of these other teams just because they're young. Have everything to do. They have a ton of power forwards off the bench. Tons of shooting guards. They're gonna have tons of.
Why do you need 4 or 5 power forwards?
Marcus Morris declined his Spurs deal to go play with the
New York power forwards and shooting guards.
Dude, they could.
It's not like they're good power forwards either. They're all trash. Besides Randall. Their free agency signings were trash. Elfrid Payton, trash. Wayne Ellington, trash. All these guys, trash.
I really liked the Julius Randle signing. I thought that was good. That was a really good signing.
All the other ones
I just don't see the need for 4 power forwards. That could just be me, but I just don't see the need for 4 power forwards.
Then they overpay for Reggie Bullock and Wayne. Who gives Reggie Bullock $10 million a year? He played so bad.
They traded their new franchise star, who was supposed to be in Kristaps Porzingis, just so they could absolutely go off this free agency, and they didn't absolutely go off this free agency. They signed 4 power forwards who combined, honestly, I guess Julius Randle's pretty good, but Kristaps Porzingis is better than any of these guys they signed. They traded away Kristaps Porzingis just for this free agency, and they struck out this free agency. Yeah, Mason, I'll take that into my 13 seed. I can't say anything more about the New York power forwards and shooting guards. My 13 seed is the New York power forwards and shooting guards. Out of the bottom 3, I do think that New York is the best out of the bottom 3. We all know who the bottom 3 are, obviously, in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, yeah.
But you pretty much said everything I was going to say. The New York power forwards and shooting guards are my 13 seed.
My 13th seed is actually different than you guys, but it's
really
it's probably like a game or half a game between these two. But my 13th seed is actually the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Their draft class, I like their draft class actually a lot, but there's zero fit to their system at all. Come on, this it's just, and then Colin Sexton, he's good, but he needs to prove himself, and Kevin Love's getting older. But compared to the New York power forwards and shooting guards, I see this team barely going above them. And I mean barely.
Yeah.
So
yeah, sure.
13th seed for me. Cleveland Cavs.
Yeah, I'll touch on the Cavs in a second here.
Bouncing off that, I also have the Cavs. I love Darius Garland.
man,
I love Kevin Porter Jr. I just don't like him on the Cavs. Dylan Windler, I think he did pretty good this summer. Like, I think he'll be pretty good. They have a lot of young talent. They have Kevin Love, but who knows what? Honestly, anything could happen. He could get traded. We don't know what's going on with him, but I don't understand why they're running a 6-2 backcourt. They're trying to be like the Blazers, but it's very hard to replicate the Blazers.
Yeah.
This team will get exposed on defense so easily. Kevin Love is not the best defender. This backcourt will be terrible at defense. Yeah, I like the talent, but I don't like the direction. If that makes sense.
No, I 100% agree. My 14th seed is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like Steele said, they're a game and a half, but it's a small. I think it should be a small difference between 14 the Cavs and the 13 New York power forwards and shooting guards. Honestly, I love the Cavs draft class. I love who they brought in. I just don't like bringing them all into. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna make any sense. I think you guys were trying to say this too. I love the talent they brought in, but I don't love I hate the situation. I hate bringing them all in together. I guess I hate. I think you said it best, Steele. You love the players, but you hate the fit, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to replicate, like Mason said, that Portland backcourt of Dame and CJ. But I love Garland. Garland's one of my favorite rookies. Same with Kevin Porter Jr. I love both of them. Two of my favorite rookies. But bringing them in with Sexton already there, I just don't see it. Kevin Porter Jr., I don't think he can play small forward. Garland, I think
if you run him at small forward, that team will be so small.
Exactly. And Garland, he can shoot, but he's too small to play shooting guard.
They better not put him at shooting guard.
If they're going to they're running a Colin Sexton Garland backcourt. They have to, as much as it sucks to say,
they have to trade Sexton is what they got to do.
Sexton's a young talent, potential all around him. But if you're gonna, I think a backcourt with Darius Garland and Kevin Porter Jr., I would love that. I would love to see that backcourt. I think that would be phenomenal. So I think with the current team they had, Cedi Osman, of course. I think with the team currently they have to trade Colin Sexton. But they're not going to. They love Colin Sexton. It looks like they're going to run a backcourt of Garland and Sexton. They shouldn't put Sexton at shooting guard. They shouldn't put Garland at shooting guard. Both of them are point guards, but one of them is going to have to play shooting guard. I guess fingers crossed it's Sexton, which he can't really play shooting guard, but he's better. He would be better at it than Garland. I don't understand what this team is doing. Yeah, my 14 seeds, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I was hoping Garland would go to like a different team, like literally anybody other than
Phoenix. He would have been nice in Phoenix.
Phoenix, yes.
That would have been good to see.
Yeah, I would. I'm already watching Phoenix games. But
Suns hate point guards.
Yeah, they really do. But anyway, my 14th seed. You guys already touched on it. Much on them because you guys pretty much you guys secured the bag with them. So my 14th seed is the Knicks. Don't know what they're doing this offseason. I believe they declined Kawhi Leonard interview.
They did,
and
yeah, he wasn't going to go there anyways. Let's be honest, but you give the defending Finals MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time champion a meeting, no matter what.
Yes, and they didn't want to sign Kevin Durant just because of his injury. Like it's Kevin Durant. Like come on,
you give him the money.
Yeah, you give him money.
What are you talking about, bro? Bobby Portis?
Wait, they did get Bobby Portis? Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's one of their 16 power forwards, really.
They're gonna run a starting 5 of all power forwards, baby.
That's the New York power forwards and shooting guards.
They could they literally could, which is terrible.
Who's running point? Julius Randle? Probably. I'd give him a point guard position. But yeah, my 4th seed is the New York Knicks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's just.
I was hoping it wasn't going to be obviously our 15th seed. I knew it wasn't going to be.
We know what the 15th seed is, guys. It is the Milwaukee. Just kidding. It is the Charlotte Hornets.
Yes.
My gosh, when you have a big three of Michael Kidd, Gilchrist, Terry Rozier, and Cody Zeller, you know you need a just blow up the team, like literally, like relocate and sell the team. Like, this is terrible. What are they doing? There's no direction. They have terrible contracts. Batum averaged 9 points for $20 million. Terry Rozier had a terrible year. He's getting 20 million.
I am definitely not Googling who their coach is because I don't know his name. That's definitely not what I'm doing.
We literally Googled it 2 days ago. And still,
I don't
can't
remember. I'm no joke. I'm Googling right now.
He's
James Borrego.
Yeah, because he's
who is
Who?
James
Oh
Borrego?
yeah.
Who?
Dude, I promise you that's not the same name I had a couple days ago.
James Borrego.
That's crazy.
James Borrego sounds like a baseball coach. Like, come
Hey guys,
on.
welcome to the new NBA. The Warriors aren't the favorite to win the finals. Super duos are taking the lead by storm, and there's now 29 NBA teams.
And Terry Rozier is the face of a franchise.
Well, there's 29 NBA teams now. I mean, what are they going to do? Obviously, I'm making a joke. Obviously, I'm making a joke. The Hornets.
He's the face of the high school
Hornets
squad.
are not an NBA team anymore.
I'll take Sierra Canyon over the
dude. Give me prime Chino Hills over the Charlotte Hornets right now. I'm talking about prime. Give me LaMelo. Give me Jello. Give me Lonzo. Give me all of them in their Big O. What is his name? Big O, right? Give me all of them in their prime over the Charlotte Hornets right now. I take the four of them in their prime over the Charlotte Hornets right now.
And the scarier thing is LaMelo Ball could be going to Charlotte, which would be horrible.
Could you imagine?
I would not want to. I would watch Hornets games just for LaMelo. That's about it.
RJ Hampton to the Hornets.
Oh,
I hope not.
That's not what we're doing.
We're not doing a mock draft. So. That's not going to be for a long time. Obviously, we all have the same 15 seed. It's the JBA team. It's the Charlotte Hornets. I'm telling you, this is not an NBA. When you have to Google teams, I could literally tell me an NBA team right now. I could tell you their head coach, which is the crazy. And if you gave me the Charlotte Hornets before I Googled it, I could not have told you. James Borrego. That doesn't even sound like the same name I looked up a couple days ago. I'm sure all of our 15 seeds the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense what they're doing. Michael Jordan, he might be in contention for the greatest player of all time, if not the greatest player of all time. I think we said this last week too, but he is the worst owner of all time. It's just the Hornets are so bad. They're so bad.
It's rough. It's rough for sure.
And I honestly think the Hornets are overrated because no one's talking about how bad the Hornets actually are. The Hornets are overrated because of how garbage they actually are, and no one's talking about how garbage they actually are. 15 seeds, the Hornets. I can't believe this team is really what they are. They're really going to be putting out on the court what they I could go on and on about the Hornets, but I mean, show, we don't want the show to be long again. So.
Just an hour dedicated to how bad the Hornets are.
I'm honestly so down if you guys are.
I don't know if maybe, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Because we all know it is. Come on, the Charlotte Hornets. You know, you lose Kemba and you make your anchor of your freaking team the scary Terry Rozier. Wait, let me repeat it. Not so scary Terry Rozier.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's your anchor of your team. Oof.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying with anchor because all these teams obviously have anchors. Raptors, you could give it to Lowry or Siakam. Heat's obviously Jimmy Butler. Detroit, obviously Blake. I mean, when your anchor of your team is Terry Rozier. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad.
Speaking of anchors, the anchor of this podcast is our sponsor, Anchor.
Hey.
Let's hear the message from our sponsor. Thank you guys for listening to that sponsor. We're going to go into our West standings now. I'm going to kick it off with our number 1 seed. I have the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to keep it short. We talked about them a lot last week. I think they have a ton of depth. They have the best duo in the NBA. They have a young, talented player, DeMarcus Cousins, who's going to I think he'll have a great year. I just think this team has the most depth. In the league, to be honest. So, yeah, they're my number 1 seed.
Guys, from now on, I want you to refer to me as Hot Take Tyler.
Hi, man, Tyler.
Hi, man, Tyler.
Because your takes make me feel like you're high, so.
Hot Take Tyler. My number 1 seed in the Western
Let's
Conference
see how hot this is.
for next season is the Denver Nuggets. Everybody,
The cap on this
the
podcast.
Denver
Wait.
Nuggets.
I'm just gonna take
The
my cap
Nuggets
off and put it back on.
The Nuggets did not lose anybody. They added a great player in Jeremy Grant via trade with the Thunder. Michael Porter Jr., who knows what's going on with him, could be ready for the season. Coach Mike Malone came in third, I want to say, behind Doc Rivers and Mike Budenholzer for Coach of the Year last year. Obviously, have a great leader in Jokic. Didn't lose anybody. I mean, great young team with great potential, great upside. I really think this team. I think Jokic could have an MVP type season. I mean, guys, come back to this in April. I think the Denver Nuggets will be the first seed in the Western Conference, and I feel strongly about that too. We'll come back in April. We'll see. We'll see in April.
Well,
Hot take, Tyler.
Where'd I put the Nuggets?
Well, Mr. Hot Take Tyler, I wouldn't even put
Tyler.
the Nuggets in my top 3 because, well, I'm not going to go into that because I'll get into that more of that later. We'll get there. But,
we'll get there.
You know, like I said, I took my cap off. I'm gonna put it back on.
That's what you said. Okay.
Yeah. But let's just steer away from that. My first seed, you already know who the first seed is. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. You got the best duo in the league, and I'm gonna say the best duo in the league, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You got like a ton of players that fit. They fit the system. That's the thing about this team too. Their players that they sign fit the system. I like Dudley. I like how I started off with Dudley first, but I do like Dudley.
Of course. Who else?
Kuzma. You know, they kept Kuzma around. That was exciting.
Don't you talk about Avery Bradley.
The fact that they trade. Don't talk about.
Don't say a word about Avery Bradley.
Avery Bradley's not that bad. He's a good defender.
I'm a Clippers fan. I saw everything he did last season. He is that.
He was kind of capped. Person back to that, but I feel like he can turn it. And you got Danny Green. For the Raptors postseason, just lights out.
That was a really good signing.
Yeah, this team, I just feel like they got it all. They got scoring, they can drive, they can defend. Their defending might be like their least, but their defending is still solid. So, number 1 for me, LA Lakers.
Yeah, and we talked about them. I think I'm positive we all had them as winners last week. They had an amazing offseason. They really had an amazing offseason. The signings they made, they all worked really well. Missing out on Kawhi and then still bouncing back and getting all those much needed signings really worked in their favor. I really like the DeMarcus Cousins signing. I think he's gonna turn around from. I mean, last season he wasn't terrible, but I do think he's gonna be better than he was last season. Something I want to bring up about the Nuggets, I forgot to talk about why I have them as my first seed. I'm really huge on chemistry, and they didn't lose anybody, and they added one player in Jeremy Grant, who's fantastic.
He can definitely get his.
I'm a big fan of his. Good role player. I think he fits really well with the Nuggets. So yeah, that was just coming back to. That was another reason I have the Nuggets in the first seed. But
I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
Their chemistry is really nice, and they were a really good team last year too. So
they were, yeah. All right, second seed.
Second seed, boys.
Second seed, I have the team that plays in the Staples Center along with the Lakers. I have the Clippers. I think they have the second best duo in the league.
I'll take that.
They have an amazing defensive lineup, which is very good to go against teams like the Lakers. They have reigning 6th man of the year, Lou Williams, another 6th man of the year candidate, Montrez, which I don't know how you can have 2 6-mans on the team, but that's not the point. This team's got a great bench. Landry Shamet, a great 3-point shooter. He can fit on any team. He's just a great shooter. I think the Clippers will be the second seed in the West.
Yeah, I agree with you. As a Clippers fan, this was the best offseason. A proud Clippers fan. I don't want to hear bandwagon. I've been a Clippers fan for 7 years now.
Bandwagon.
I've gone through the trading Blake. I've gone through trading Chris Paul, my favorite player of all time. I've gone through it all. I've gone through DeAndre Jordan not really trying in his last year with the Clippers. This was fantastic. Adding Kawhi Leonard, obviously, everyone knows Kawhi Leonard, 2-time Finals MVP, defending Finals MVP, 2-time NBA champion, best defensive player in the league, and then trading for Paul George minutes after landing Kawhi Leonard. the two best two-way players in the NBA. Great team. Amazing bench. A bench that averaged more points than any other bench in NBA history. Obviously, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench. We brought back Zubac. Brought back JaMychal Green. Landry Shamet's still there. Best defensive team in the league. Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. That's just the big three on defense. Great coach. Obviously, Doc Rivers, championship coach. Not defending, but second in coach of the year running last season. I mean, there's nothing much you can say about the Clippers. They're going to be fantastic. Clippers are my second seed.
AD's going to dominate them.
I can see that happening too.
No one on that.
Do you guys see that picture of him in a Lakers jersey? The first picture of him in a Lakers jersey that came out. That looks like so weird.
I don't like 3.
It looked the jersey looks.
Dude, I'm telling you, got stuck in the dryer a little bit too long. That looks so weird.
Dude, I don't like the number 3 on him.
Man's is wearing the youth.
He said he's wearing the youth jersey.
Even though he's 7 foot and he's probably wearing like a large jersey, it looks like a dress.
I mean, the Clippers off season. The Clippers start to their off season. That was like, I bet you that was nerve-wracking for you. They looked like anybody.
Scary. I was pacing. It was bad.
But keep it short and sweet. We all know they're here. Second seed, LA Clippers, second best duo in the league. Not only do they have a solid starting 5, they also have a solid bench.
Oh yeah.
This team's got a like one of the greatest defenders in the league. They've got 3 players that could be top 5 defenders.
Oh yeah,
not a doubt.
Best defensive team in the league.
This team's gonna clamp up. I don't know if they can guard AD, but I mean, this team is gonna clamp up. So,
Montrez.
2 LA Clippers. Montrez against AD. Montrez against AD. Yeah,
we'll see. See what happens.
Got 3rd seed, boys.
I'm gonna go.
Your second seed's Clippers.
3rd seed. I'm gonna go a little fast because we talked to them at the beginning. I have the Rockets. This team gets clowned a lot, but when you have the best backcourt in the league, you have the best backcourt in the league who are great friends, unlike CP3 and the other team. I think this team has good depth. I mean, they have Joey Green, Austin Rivers. Hopefully, they bring back Kenneth Faried. There's rumors that they could get Blake Griffin. I'm not going based off that. I'm going based off their current team.
That'd be insane.
Kevin Love too.
Eric Gordon at the 3 and PJ Tucker at the 4. I think I'd love that fit. It's a small fit, but it works. Right. It really works. I don't know how it does, but it does. And I just think that this team overall, last year it was a disappointing year because of injuries, but I think this year they're going to prove people wrong.
3rd seed is the Rockets. I'll touch on them here in a second. My 3rd seed, we haven't talked much about them this episode. Last episode, I talked about them like crazy. I talked everyone's ear off of them. And I'm sure I'll continue to do that because I'm really high on this team. My 3rd seed is the Utah Jazz. I love, once again, one of my winners of free agency. I love the Jazz's offseason. Added Mike Conley. I think that trade worked. It worked okay for both sides. The Grizzlies got a young talent. Young. I don't know about talent. They added Grayson Allen. I'll just say that. They added Jay Crowder, who's going to give you his 110% every single game. That was really good for the Grizzlies. And obviously the Jazz, they get Mike Conley, who is an extremely underrated point guard. Added Bojan. I loved that those 2 additions. Added a lot more scoring, more defense, obviously more experienced. Quinn Snyder, a fantastic coach. Like I said already, this team has a ton of experience, very well balanced. Donovan Mitchell's there. Rudy Gobert, obviously. I think he won Defensive Player of the Year, right? But yeah, this team is fantastic.
Rudy Gobert, yeah.
My 3rd seed. Yeah. My 3rd seed is the Utah Jazz.
Mate, where are the Lakers?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Hot take, Tyler. I told you.
Yeah, gotta put the cap back on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go pretty quick on my 3rd seed, even though they are my favorite team. But my 3rd seed is the Houston Rockets. Like Mason said before, best backcourt in the league. You still got PJ Tucker, who's not only a great corner specialist, but he can lock up. He can lock up for sure. They've got a solid bench, and that's like really what makes your team. I feel like it makes your team whole, obviously.
Yeah.
You
Bench
you
and
have to have a
experience, yeah.
solid you have to have a
Absolutely.
solid bench and chemistry. Those are like the two main things for me, and I feel like the
100%.
Rockets have both. So 3 for me, Rockets.
A very overhated team, the Rockets are.
Oh yeah,
Very overhated. Overhated, I should say.
I know. I heard.
Kind of sound like I said overrated. Not overrated at all. Very overhated team, the Rockets are.
Harden gets clowned on for no reason.
I'm gonna go into the 4th seed. I liked what Tyler said about the Jazz. I think they're a very good team. That's why I have them as my 4th seed. But something that Steele brought up was to have a good team, you need to have a good bench. I don't think the Jazz have that good of a bench, so that's why I can't put them in the top 3.
I respect that.
But that starting 5 is very good. Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell will be a great backcourt. Donovan Mitchell's a little bit overrated in my opinion, but that might be a hot take. I don't know, but he's
tad. Didn't have a great season. Sophomore season.
People say he's better than Booker, which I kind of gets me heated. Which gets me heated. But yeah, Rudy Gobert, he's a defensive player of the year. Bogdan or Bojan, whatever his name is, he's a very good player. Yeah, Bojan's a very good player. They had Emmanuel Mudiay off the bench.
That's right. They did add him.
I mean,
Mudiay is okay.
I mean, that's okay. Yeah, it's okay, but that's why they're my 4th, and that's why I do not have them in the top 3. But I love that backcourt.
Why did I think Mudiay was on the power forwards and shooting guards? Oh, he came over from the power. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, why did I think? Okay, yeah, all right, I got you.
Power forwards and shooting.
I was about to say why. I was like, why did I think he's
no. He played for power forwards and shooting guards last season. I was all thrown off.
No, those were the delusionals last year.
My 4th seed, I think, I'm pretty sure both of you guys had them as a 3rd seed. A game and a half, or half game behind the 3rd seed. I have the Houston Rockets as a 4th seed. Amazing duo. I think it's going to work exceptionally well. Obviously, former MVPs, an insane amount of talent, good depth around them too. Chemistry's there. Just replacing Chris Paul with Russell Westbrook, which is a massive. I love Chris Paul, my favorite player of all time. But right now, adding Russell Westbrook over Chris Paul, massive upgrade. Obviously, Mike D'Antoni, a great coach. Yeah, my 4th. Nothing much you really say about them. You guys said a lot about them. For my 4th seed is Houston Rockets.
Yep, and I'm gonna keep my 4th seed a little short because Tyler's covered them already. So my 4th seed is actually indeed the Denver Nuggets. It's pretty much the same thing as Tyler, except they're in their reasonable spot, number 1. I really love this team's chemistry. Jokic is a beast. Not only is he's a great big man, but he can also pass, like almost like a point guard. So that's really exciting. Only thing to him is his speed. Probably like 2K perspective, probably a 40. And this, seems they're solid defenders too. And they could easily sneak up, but with the new LA teams and the nice Rockets team, I gotta keep them out. So 4 for me is the Nuggets.
Yeah, Jokic got 40 speed.
Dude, he does. Tell me he's not the slowest.
No, I'm not.
He's slow.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I never thought that's hilarious.
Like looking at
Jokic
Marcus
got
Gasol.
speed.
Looking at Marcus Gasol in this playoffs, he was really slow, but I feel like Jokic is a little slower. So
oh no, yeah, absolutely.
I want to see them race low key.
No, again, yeah. No, again, you're not wrong. It's just the way it was funny. 5th seed.
Number 5. You guys both talked about them. The Nuggets. They have a great chemistry. They have a great young core. The thing that puts them behind for me is that they don't have that dynamic duo that these other teams have. It's the duo league, and I like Jokic, but I think Murray is a great player, but I don't think he can be classified as a star yet because he hasn't hit that level yet. While these other teams have 2 stars, but I think this team will be great just because of how much depth they have and how young they are. So that's why they're
I totally see that.
For me.
All right, everybody, calm down. Mason Steele, I know you guys are up in arms. There's no way the Lakers were going to fall out of the top 5. My 5th seed.
There's no way they should fall out of the top 2.
My 5th seed in a crazy stacked Western Conference is the team that out of the top 4 I feel has the least experience. Obviously, there's some experience playing together. Sorry, not experience. I meant chemistry together. Obviously, there's some chemistry there. Rondo, Boogie, and AD playing in New Orleans together.
Yes, sir.
LeBron and Rondo played a season together. But yeah, my fifth seed is the Los Angeles Lakers. They're going to win a good amount of games, but in this Western Conference, even winning 55, I think is going to knock you down to a fifth or sixth seed. Obviously, probably the best duo in the league. LeBron's there, AD's there now. They have depth. Really, the only thing that is putting them at a fifth seed and below these other teams, in my eyes, is their chemistry to get all working all together, and their coaching. I liked the Frank Vogel signing hiring. I liked that hiring. I think Tyronn Lue would have been a better fit with the Lakers, honestly, with the chemistry he had with LeBron in the past, helping LeBron and that team to the finals. Obviously, I think when he took over, it was 3 years after that, after taking over for David Blatt in Cleveland. Again, the only reason the Lakers are fifth seed and not top four or not higher than the fifth seed is because of chemistry altogether and coaching. Something I think these other four teams have over the Lakers. My fifth seed is the Lakers.
Fifth seed with 55 wins? Are you saying the Nuggets are going to win more than 55?
I am saying that. Oof. I am absolutely saying that.
Do these other teams have Taco Tuesday?
You know what? Maybe they do. Maybe it's just behind the scenes. Maybe they're not taking it to taking it to social media.
All I'm saying, LeBron introduced AD to Taco Tuesday, and he said,
and then cut him off Taco Tuesday. AD didn't even get an opportunity to talk about Taco Tuesday.
He got some bomb tacos.
Those tacos were for sure fire, 100%. There's no way they weren't. There's no way they weren't.
Popping me a Taco Tuesday.
Whenever Bronny says it makes me Bronny's the best at it, dude. It's so funny.
Makes her heart warm.
Let me get into my fifth seed here. I'm not going to
go
too much into them because you guys have already covered them. My fifth seed's the Jazz. The only team that's bringing this team down to fifth really is their lack of bench. That's pretty much going to bring them down to fifth. Mike Conley's nice. If they could have kept Ricky Rubio and still somehow Mike Conley, they could be potentially top three. Potentially though,
Rubio.
It's like a stretch almost.
They couldn't pay Rubio.
Yeah, that's true. But
where did he win? He went Phoenix. That's right.
Yep. For me, fifth seed, Jazz.
There you go. And again, the top four could absolutely switch around. That's what's so great about the NBA this season. The top five could exactly. The top five really could go in any order, and I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong about mine at all.
Sixth seed. I have one of the. I think they lost a lot of people. They gained D'Lo. The reason I have them here, honestly, they're honestly a wild card. They could drop or they could climb. It just depends on how Curry plays and how Clay comes back. And this team, there's so much like new pieces and stuff, like new like injuries and stuff. Like I can't even
a lot of losses.
Just putting them at 6 was just because of their backcourt. That's pretty much why.
My 6th seed exactly like yours. My 6th seed is Golden State Warriors, and the reason why, Steph Curry. This season, the current team they have right now, Klay Thompson being out until right before playoffs start, I want to say, is when Klay Thompson's coming back. The team they would put out there without Steph Curry is obviously nowhere near a playoff team in my eyes, especially in the Western Conference. But having Steph there is going to make this team a 6th seed in my eyes. Mason, you pretty much said everything I was going to say. I had them as one of the losers of the offseason, but when you have Steph Curry, anything's possible. He's going to have an MVP type season. I think he will finish top 3 MVP voting. I haven't decided who I think my MVP will be yet. That's for another episode. But my 6th seed's the Warriors.
We're 3 for 3 on this one, boys. My 16 is also the Warriors. Yeah. It's basically Steph Curry. You know, I've bagged on this team for like 3 years now. I've said I've hated the Warriors. That's just because I'm a pretty salty Rockets fan and feel like we should have beat them 2 times out of 3.
That's crazy.
But we'll go on that like later on. But Yeah, this team, and Steph Curry's definitely gonna have a caliber season this year,
100%.
for sure. I don't like Draymond as a person, but I like how he's a great player. He's a great defender, for sure.
Perfect fit with the Warriors, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure. So my 6th seed for me, the Warriors.
All right, I got you. Yeah. And I think the Warriors, they're really real quick. The Warriors are really like one injury away from maybe even dropping out of the playoffs, especially if that injury is to Steph. But you're right, Mason. The Warriors are really are a wild card. I mean, one small mishap, and the Warriors could be easily out of the playoffs. So yeah, it's really
competition.
Absolutely.
For my 7th seed, I'm not going to spoil anything. I have the Blazers, but Tyler's not very high on them for some reason.
We'll get there.
Still, yeah, we'll
Spoiler.
This team has one of the best backcourts in the league. Nasir Little, a very solid defensive player. They added guys like Mario Hezonja and Kent Bazemore, who I don't think are amazing players, but they're still good pieces. You have Onfree Simmons and Gary Trent Jr., who had amazing summer leagues. You had Hassan Whiteside, who he's overpaid, but he's not bad. And you're having Nurkic come back too. I think this team is just too good to not be in the playoffs. Yeah, they should not have been in the Western Conference Finals last year, but still they are great.
Let's be honest. The Western Conference Finals the last 2 years were Warriors Rockets. Let's be honest.
Yeah, facts.
My 7th seed is actually a team that I think you're kind of bagging on a little bit towards the end of last week's episode. My 7th seed is the San Antonio Spurs, and I was fully ready to knock these guys out of the playoffs. And then I remember Greg Popovich exists, and Greg Popovich is the coach of this team. Greg Popovich is the reason that the Spurs will obviously be back in the playoffs. He's not going to let this playoff streak end here. Experienced team. DeJounte Murray's coming back. That's going to be huge for them. Talent with some depth. Obviously, amazingly coached. DeMar's there. LaMarcus is there. Obviously, I'm pretty sure I already said DeJounte Murray coming back. Not much you can say. Spurs my 7th seed.
My 7th seed is, I'm gonna have to agree with Mason here. It's the Blazers. Don't see this team not making the playoffs at all. You got Dame, you got CJ McCollum. Hassan Whiteside, he kind of fits this team. Kind of not personally, but
it's weird.
I feel he's gonna do the job for them. And then you got Nurk Daddy coming back. Pretty soon, so 7th seed for me, the Blazers.
This guy said Nurk Daddy.
Nurk Daddy, bro, he's a beast.
What prompted you to say that? That's not even his nickname.
I think it was in a YouTube video. I know this. I forgot whose video, but it was in someone.
Or you're just having.
No. I haven't.
Okay, well,
I swear someone's Nurk Daddy.
Okay, we're just gonna hop
please.
We're just gonna have
please. I really please, Nurk Daddy. What in God's name?
Hey, no homo. Hey,
I have this.
Bro, I'm signing you up as a psychiatrist immediately,
bro.
Okay, we have. Okay, we have the Spurs. This team's kind of boring, so I'm gonna be quick. They have the same team. They're getting DeJounte Murray back, but Craig Popovich is the reason why, and they also brought back Rudy Gay Daddy.
Dude.
Yeah, this team. I think this team's gonna be. It's gonna be decent, but I could easily see him missing playoffs. But I don't because of Greg Popovich.
You mean Pop Daddy?
Dude,
okay,
I'm leaving.
Chill,
I'm leaving.
Tyler, stop. You need to chill, bro. Why'd you say that? Why would you say that?
Is this the wrong? Did I join the wrong podcast? What's going on?
No, you're in the right one.
Say your 8th seed.
My 8th seed's the Kings. I'm telling you, I might be hot take Tyler. I'm not sure. This was an up in the air decision for me. 8 through 10, I really was contemplating pretty hard. I gave it to the Kings because they're a young, very talented team. Off the top of my head, I don't think they lost. Oh, Willie Cauley-Stein, which is a gain for them, honestly, losing Willie Cauley-Stein. Young and talented team. Obviously, there's chemistry there. I feel like they're gonna have a lot of momentum after coming just short of the playoff last season. I want to say they were the 9 or 10 seed. I think they were the 9 seed. I think De'Aaron Fox is only going to get better from here. Marvin Bagley's only going to get better from here. Buddy Hield's only going to get better from here. Bogdan, great, really underrated player. I mean, yeah, the Kings. I think the Kings will be really good next season, and the Kings are my 8 seed.
I like that. However, yeah, no, I'm just gonna go into my 8 seed.
However, yeah, no.
My 8 seed is the boring team, the San Antonio Spurs. There's one reason only why this team is, well, not the only reason, but there's a big reason why this team's 8 seed. Greg Popovich. Yeah. He's the man. You know, we just know him. Greg Popovich, baby. All right. 8 seed Spurs.
8 seed Spurs. Who didn't make the cut?
9 through 15. We're going to go a little fast for these ones too. Mavericks. This team, I can honestly see them flipping with the Spurs because I think Luka and Kristaps are going to be a great duo. I'm high on Jalen Brunson. They got Seth Curry back used to play for him. I think this team is very well-rounded, and they have a good young duo. So it's just we're gonna have to see how Kristaps returns. That's why.
I got the same 9 seed as you. It's the Mavericks. Like I said, 8 through 8.
No Blazers.
Hey, I'm almost there. Like I said,
where's Nurk Daddy?
Like I said, I'm gonna get to Nurk Daddy. Like I said, 8 through 10.
Got everyone saying it now.
8. I told you I joined the wrong podcast. 8 through 10. 8 through 10. Like I said, I think that this could easily switch. I think the Mavericks could easily be the 8 seed. I think the Kings could easily be the 9 seed. The Mavericks are my 9 seed. I think they're almost there. I think they need 1 year to play together. I would not be surprised if they're in the playoffs, not this season, but next season, the 2020-2021 season. My 9 seed Mavericks, not much you can say about them.
Yeah, boys, where are you agreeing here? My 9 seed is the Mavs. They could easily flip 8 seed, like you guys said.
If the fit's perfect, I think, with Porzingis. He still hasn't played a game for them yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. I like Luka. Luka's a very exciting player. And you got Kristaps. Hopefully he's coming off the injury pretty well. You never know. But, yeah, that's why my 9th seed is the Mavs.
Yeah.
10th seed, Tyler went already over them. The Kings. I can honestly see Kings making playoffs too. It's just 8 through 10 is very
really
tight.
Is.
The Kings have De'Aaron Fox, who I think is going to take the next step. Same with Bagley. This team is young, fast, exciting.
Very
Fox
exciting.
is a great young player. Honestly, I think it's just gonna see. It's gonna determine how well the other young players develop alongside Fox and Bagley. So that's why I have them at 10.
My 10 seed, finally. Like I said, I would not be surprised if these guys are an 8 seed. I would not be surprised if these guys are a 9 seed. I think 8 through 10 is the range for these guys. My 10 seed is the Portland Trailblazers.
Where's my Cowboy cap?
I have them as my third biggest loser from this offseason. They lost, off the top of my head, they lost Mo Harkless. They lost Al-Farouq Aminu. Lost Evan Turner. Lost Enes Kanter.
Evan Turner.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why Evan
low
Turner.
Key.
They lost a lot of key role players for them who really held this team together. I think they really worked really well with this team, and I really don't think they'll be the same without those players. My 10. I mean, there's not much I can really say. I think that's the only reason that the Trailblazers. I mean, you have Dame, CJ, Terry Stotts is a great coach. I'm a big fan of his. But losing your key huge role players that mean so much to your team, I think it's going to hurt them in a huge amount. So I think the Trailblazers are my 10. So the Trailblazers are my 10 seed.
Yeah, I have 2 caps on right now, Tyler. Not gonna lie.
That's crazy.
I went to go grab a hat, put on.
That's
another one
crazy. On. I feel like you actually did.
I did.
No way.
I'll send it to you after the podcast.
Yeah, please do.
But my 10th seed, you guys already touched up on them, but my 10th seed is the Kings. It's just a matter of growth with this young squad. You got De'Aaron Fox. He's a speedy demon. He could be potentially the fastest player in the league.
I think he is. He probably is.
Marvin Bagels Bagley. I like him. He's exciting. This whole team. Hey, coming off the dome. Just wait till we get to the Pelicans. Anyway, it's just a young. I don't know.
We'll find out.
It's just a young squad that needs, they just need time to grow. So 10 Kings.
I'm kind of concerned about what you're going to say about the Pelicans. I'm totally honest.
Okay.
Hey,
well,
I was concerned when you said it's were okay. That's why I got 2 caps on right now. All right.
I'm going to see that picture.
Don't worry.
Okay. The 11. I have the Thunder. They have 3 proven guys in CP3, Danilo Gallinari, Steven Adams, and Shai. I just think they're gonna tank. Their bench is awful too, so I don't see how that fits well. CP3 could get traded. You really just don't know with this team. I don't see them being a playoff team whatsoever. I don't think they want to be a playoff team either.
No,
so.
I like this upcoming draft class.
So yeah, that's why I have them.
My 11th seed is the Thunder too. A roster I think could be up to the 9th seed, but honestly, like I said, I'm a big fan of this draft class for the second straight year. Assuming these guys are one and dones, which is very likely, coming into college this year. My 11th seed is the Thunder. Chris Paul, Gallinari, Shai, and I'm a big fan of Shai's. Obviously, I'm a Clippers fan. And who was it? Oh, I can blank on it. Steven Adams. I think talent-wise, this team could obviously, like I said, be up to the 9th seed, but they should be trying to lose, and I think they will be trying to lose. Not much. Mason, you pretty much said everything I was going to say. My 11th seed is Thunder.
My 11th seed could easily potentially be my 12th seed, but my 11th seed is actually the New Orleans Pelicans. I feel like with their signings of Lonzo Ball, I'm not even going to give these guys nicknames. I'm going a little on the sus side, all right? So I'm going to pipe it down a little bit.
Yeah, don't.
Dude, no, I was not. No.
Yeah, you probably
were. That's not even that creative. So I already called Nerf Daddy. I can't call Zo Daddy. What? That doesn't even flow right. Zo Daddy?
It's like GoDaddy.
Ball Daddy.
ZoDaddy.com.
What
are we doing?
I like Ball Daddy, low key. That's kind of fire.
Dude, hello?
Hey, pause. That was
what are we doing?
Okay, let me get into it. Jeez.
This dude said I like Ball Daddy.
They got a young squad. Obviously, they landed Zion, which is amazing. They got Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart.
Dumbo Daddy.
It's the same thing with the Kings. They just are a young squad that needs to grow. So...
When you said Brandon Ingram, I was so tempted to say Slender Daddy.
Dude, I'm
Slender Daddy.
Good night.
We're talking about the wrong things. You gotta stay on focus.
The Pelicans situation is the same as the Kings. It's just they need time to grow too, and you got Zion. So 11th seed is the Pelicans.
What just happened?
Okay, we're gonna pretend like nothing just happened.
My
12 through 15 could honestly switch. I have the Timberwolves. I have him here just because Karl Anthony Towns is a proven player. I know what I'm getting from him. He's one of the best big men in the league. I think Wiggins. I'm honestly hoping Wiggins takes all the criticism he's been getting this offseason and shows people why. I think he has a talent.
He just needs to try.
Use his talent.
He
really
needs
does.
To try.
I know Tyler's not high on Culver, but I think he'll be I don't think he'll be an all-star, but I think he'll be a very
role player.
Good player. Yeah. So that's why I have the Timberwolves at 12.
My 12 seed, I think Steele had them at 11, I think. My 12 seed's the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yep.
I am. Really, obviously, young team. The Lakers crew that came in and the Anthony Davis trade, obviously, they have experience of playing together. Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, obviously, still battling injuries. I think Ingram has those blood clots. Bringing in Zion, he's obviously going to be great. Their draft class was nice. They brought in Zylan Cheatham, who's my favorite rookie going in the season, ASU guy.
I got you.
Yeah, I got you. That's my 12 seed Pelicans. Young team. In the coming years, they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I totally agree right here. Mm-hmm. My 12 seed, they weren't going to drop any lower for me. My 12 seed's the Thunder. It's pretty much the same as you guys. CP3, but he is going to start with them this season. I don't know if it's going to be there for a year or not, and they got Steven Adams, they still got they got a decent squad, so I can't put them 12. So
Yeah,
12 seed. Thunder.
13. Bottom three.
13. Oh, this bottom three compared to the East is not even.
No, yeah.
This bottom three is actually every team in the bottom three are actually pretty good.
I think no team in the West is really that bad.
Yeah. So I have the Pelicans. The only reason I put them here, you don't know what you're getting from them. You have Drew Holiday and JJ Redick, two proven guys. Lonzo and Brandon Ingram are injury prone, and the way if the Pelicans keep throwing oops literally every single play to Zion, he's just going to keep getting hurt, and I really hope they just let Zion do his own thing instead of just being thrown lobs. But yeah, the Pelicans at 13, but I could easily see them moving up. It just really depends on the injuries based on that Lonzo.
Yeah, they're very unpredictable.
They really are. My 13 seed could easily flip with my 12 seed. My 13 seed is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like I said, they could easily be a 12 seed. Pelicans easily be 13. But I have the Timberwolves at 13 because I feel like they didn't get that much better. And for them, I feel like that's not great. That's not great for them. Cat, obviously, you're getting from Cat. Wiggins is one of the biggest wild cards in all of NBA because if he actually starts trying and actually putting time into what he's doing into the game, basketball, I think he could be a lot better than he is now. Obviously, like I said, I'm not high on Culver. I think they could have gone a different direction with that 6th pick. They had 6, right? Yeah, they traded with Phoenix to get 6. They could flip to 12. Or they can stay at 13. I think they're going to be somewhere in that region. My 13 seed is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I'll agree with you here, Tyler. My 13 seed is also the T-Wolves. You pretty much covered the whole thing, so I'm going to keep mine pretty short. The main reason why I have them at 13 is it's just really Wiggins. He needs to try. That's pretty much it. I'm just going to say Wiggins needs to try more. And you already know what you're getting from Cat. Team's pretty decent, but definitely 13 for me. So 13 T-Wolves.
This might be a little shocker. I have the Suns at 14. I thought about it. I'm just gonna say my 15th too, because I'm gonna compare the two.
We know who it is.
So I think just Booker. I think Booker he's gonna be that same amazing player. Then I thought about it. Rubio is going to make DeAndre Ayton a different player. He's going to make Ayton a great player. Ayton averaged 16 points with no playmaker, which is very good for a big man rookie.
He had a really underrated
I think Ayton he's going to take that next level. Cam Johnson, I don't like where they took him, but he's definitely a good shooter for him. Mikal Bridges, he's been talking on Twitter and all this stuff that he's been working and he knows he had a bad season. I don't think he had a bad season, but he says he had a bad season. And he wants to take that next step. And then I thought about it, and I think this might be a bold take, but I think John Morant is going to have a rookie wall.
Really?
In this first season.
I could see that.
I think he's going to have a De'Aaron Fox type year where he's not going to be what everyone expected, but in his second year he's going to take the league by storm.
I can definitely see that.
I think it's just because the teams are going to have can focus on Morant, and they don't have anyone else to focus on besides Jaren Jackson Jr. So that's going to put a lot of pressure on a rookie point guard, it's very hard to come in the league as a point guard and do well right off the bat. So that's why I have the Grizzlies.
I can totally see that. I'm gonna take the Grizzlies on my 14 seed. That's just because I'm really high on Morant. I already think he handled the pressure. I don't know if you want to say pressure, but he went to a small school like Murray State, and he was able to take them to the tournament. Obviously, he was obviously no one else on that team was anywhere close to his skill level. And I'm not saying obviously college defenses are not nearly as good as NBA defenses for obviously. But I think Morant's gonna have a really good year. I think he could easily be a rookie of the year this year. You're paying Morant with Jaren Jackson Jr. Obviously, I think that's gonna be a really good duo in the Western Conference. Not this year. They obviously won't make the playoffs this year for obvious reasons, as low as they are. But I think in the next few years, I think you could really see the Grizzlies. If this duo works out, which I think it will, I think you can really see the Grizzlies push their way towards the playoffs. So, me being high on Morant, my 14 seed is the Memphis Grizzlies.
My 14th seed. It's the same with Mason's. The thing with the Suns too, which is kind of interesting, is they're also kind of like the Pelicans. They're pretty unpredictable, and I also honestly the Suns they could hit 14 and 15 range, but I could also see them. I wouldn't be that surprised if they were in the 12-11 range. This team, they could turn it around and be really something special. And like what Mason said, I liked what Mason said when he said Rubio was gonna really take DeAndre Ayton to almost the next level. So 14 for now is the Suns, but I could easily see that.
Another thing I want to say about the Suns is I also forgot. I like the Monty Williams.
Yeah, I did
hire.
like that a lot. I did like that a lot.
So that's another reason why I think the Suns are going to be able to take that next step. And I also agree with Steele. I could see them being in the 11-12 too, just because I think this team is just all around going to get better together.
Yeah, the Suns are a pretty interesting team for sure.
Mason, you already talked about your 15 seed, right? It was the Grizzlies. Okay, so I'll just jump into mine. My 15 seed is the Phoenix Suns. I think the Suns are going to be decent next season. I really don't think the Suns are that bad. Like we already said, no, I really don't think anybody in the West is that bad. I think every team in the West is either decent, anywhere from decent to great. Obviously, I really don't think the West is that bad. But yeah, my 15 seed in the West is the Suns. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything about them. I would just give them another year because of all the new pieces they brought in. Rubio, Cam Johnson, they brought in Ty Jerome. Who I'm guessing Ty Jerome's going to be. I'm guessing he's going to be getting some minutes. We'll see how Rubio and Aiden work out. Monty Williams, new hiring, so a lot of new moving pieces coming into the Suns. But like I said, I don't think they're that bad. No team in the West, in my opinion, is that bad. My 15 seeds, the Phoenix Suns.
To close this bad boy off, my 15th seed is the Grizzlies. I feel like with this team, compared to the Pelicans, Kings, and Suns, is they are a young squad that needs to grow, for sure, and they need years to get a little better, get used to playing with each other. The only thing is, compared to the Suns, Pelicans, and Kings, is they don't have as much talent surrounding as these other teams do. And I love what Mason said, where I feel like Ja is going to have that roadblock here just because every team that plays him is pretty much only going to focus on Ja and on Ja. Anyway.
This guy, bro.
And I could
Daddy.
be wrong, but didn't Grayson out? Isn't he playing? Didn't he play on the summer league?
Yes,
I'm
got
not
ejected.
For tripping. I do not like Grayson Allen. I do.
I can't stand Grayson. I'm not mentioning Grayson Allen. Oh, I wasn't even trying to say his name.
He's probably going to be on the team, which if that's the second person you're going to focus on, just start watching his feet because he's going to trip you.
My least favorite player in the league. It's not even close.
I could agree with you that one, to be honest. But 15 seed.
Close. I don't like Avery Bradley either.
I like Avery Bradley, but anyway, 15 seed Grizzlies.
So
there we go.
That is all of our seedings, our daddy nicknames.
Hey.
Dude, we should
Nurk.
We should have written those down.
No, listen.
Written those down.
Only Nurk can keep it. Anyone else that got the daddy label Nurk, he's keeping his. Okay.
Nah, I like ball.
I don't
like that.
I don't like that.
Pause.
Dude, why did you say that?
Okay, we're gonna just act like that didn't happen.
That's
I hope
crazy,
you guys
bro.
What happened?
We're gonna I
want to see that picture of you wearing two caps.
Oh, it's coming your way. Check Snap.
Follow TMS Takes on Instagram.
Yes.
Posts coming up all the time on that. We're gonna try a lot. Post more on that.
Expect. I don't want to speak too soon, but expect an NFL.
I think we're doing NFL next week. I think that's what we're leaning towards right now.
Down.
I'm really down. Yeah.
Yes.
And guess who's that?
We don't know what it's going to be on yet. That'll be a surprise for when that day comes around. Sorry for the delay as well. Just some Craig type stuff, you know.
Craig.
Craig.
Sorry, I might put a third cap on. Craig capped that hard.
If you put three caps on, that would be incredible,
bro. If I put 3 caps, you should make that your promotion thing on your Instagram story. Why does Steele have 3 caps on? Find out.
That'd be fair.
Of 2VH, I might put a third count.
Okay, well, we're just gonna end it here, guys. You guys listen all the way through. I know it's another long one, but 30 teams, that's gonna take a little bit of time.
Of course.
But thank you guys for the support on the last
Absolutely.
one. Hope you guys can continue to support this one. Any last words?
Just thanks for listening in. Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm excited for this podcast. So you guys just keep listening, and we're good.
Follow
TMS
Takes on Instagram.
Shout out Nerd Daddy.
Shout out Nerd Daddy.
TMS Takes. Sign out.
Take care now.
See you
Adios.
guys.
Take care now.
Peace.